What's going on, guys? I'm Jada Black. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about a 31-year-old woman who was a Instagram model and a influencer in the city of Atlanta. Her name was Tisha Brodie, aka Tavi Baddiee. She was a Guyanese woman who had moved to Atlanta. I'm not quite sure how long she's been there, but reportedly she lost her life in an ambush shooting when she was in the back of an Uber. She was sitting in the back seat of an Uber, and next thing you know, it gets struck up. And the interesting thing, and I was reading this right before I'm going live now to speak on this, is that I saw where people had questions about why the driver didn't get hit even though the car was shot up, right? So you had multiple people shooting at the Uber truck, but the driver was not hit, and people want to know, was he in on it, because they believe that she was targeted. This is now, I also saw that they're saying that she was very connected to, I believe, with rappers, politicians. She dwells in those circles in the city of Atlanta. And for somebody to go out of their way and commit this crime at a stop sign, it was at a stoplight. It was at a stoplight. I'm assuming there wasn't a lot of traffic. They knew where she was heading. They knew when she got picked up. And I'm assuming that they followed her. And when they got to that stop, that's when everything happened. And I too am surprised that the driver didn't get hit, but maybe they were aiming at the back seat. Now, if they're aiming at the back seat and they're not necessarily aiming at the driver's side, there's a possibility that the driver isn't going to be hit. But there are people who have more and more questions, and looking into this, I have questions. Why was this woman targeted? She doesn't have a huge following on Instagram. She's what you would consider a socialite, but she doesn't have like this huge following on social media that would warrant her to be taken out this way. This is something that you see in the movies. You know, this is something that you hear about. Now, have I seen this happen before? Yes. I've seen where there was a woman who was ambushed in traffic and lost her life, right? At a stoplight. I mean, it's happened other times before. But we have to really look at what's going on here. We could talk about who she's connected to. We could talk about the fact that she's an Atlanta socialite. But why was this woman targeted? What did she know? What information did she take? Because she's also a stripper. She also was a stripper in the city of Atlanta as well, with someone ripped off. I just don't think you don't go that far, just over a disagreement. It has to be something where there is hatred, there is feuding. Now, the police are I'm assuming they're gonna do their due diligence, they're gonna do their investigating, and they're gonna find out more. But again, this was very brazen. It's very confusing. A woman who didn't have a huge following, but she is known to be a socialite who socializes with many different people or many different groups in the city of Atlanta. But this situation, again, brings more questions than answers. So let's get into this article. From Fox 5 Atlanta, says medical examiner identifies targeted woman who lost her life in Buckhead. 911 calls released. The Fulton County medical examiner has identified the female victim struck to death on Lindbergh Drive in Buckhead early Tuesday morning. Authorities have also released the 911 calls. The medical examiner identifies the woman as 31-year-old Tisha Brodie. Police believe she lost her life in a targeted shooting. Her body was found in the back of an Uber SUV after 4:30 a.m. on May 30th. It's not Nothing good happens that early in the morning. The black Cadillac Escalade she rode in was riddled with bullets. It sounded like about 40 shots, a nearby resident told Fox 5. All that to take out one petite woman? They definitely was trying to end her. On Wednesday, officials released 2 911 calls in which the police learned the car was stopped in the middle of the road and someone inside was injured. In one call, it appeared the woman's Uber driver called emergency services. He frantically told them someone had been struck in the back seat of his car. At one point, he told the dispatcher she was still breathing. So all that 40 shots and she was still breathing afterwards. In another call, a representative from ADT Security told the dispatcher she was calling on behalf of a male who ordered the Uber ride for the victim, his friend. The representative said the male was at home tracking the ride through the Uber app and became worried when he saw the car stop, moving towards his friend's destination. Authorities believe there were multiple shooters and are still looking for leads to make arrests. Although officials identified the victim as Tisha, Brodie, I believe that's how I pronounce it. Family and friends have said her name is Tisha Brodie. They said that she was a Guyanese social media influencer who posted content under the name Tavi Baddiee. So that's pretty much all they have here. Let's see if there's any more that I missed. I think that's pretty much everything, it seems like. But nonetheless, this is crazy that this would happen. Who would target this woman? Why did it take all that to try to take her out? What did she know? Did she take money from somebody? The friend who ordered her an Uber was tracking, the Uber ride, and he says that, he was tracking it and just stopped, which is very interesting. There's just a lot of moving parts here. Who did this woman piss off? Who had it out for a social media influencer, stripper, right, who was coming from a party, I'm assuming? What exactly would she have done to warrant this? I know that there are people who are highly emotional, highly sensitive. Sometimes the smallest slight can make them go off the handle. But this is going to be high profile because of how it was done. Because how this crime was carried out, it's only going to grow. And more people are going to find out about it. More people are going to speak about it. This ain't going away. At least I would assume it wouldn't. Because this was very brazen to do this at a traffic light where there could have been other people around. But, it's 4:30 in the morning. So maybe they felt comfortable to do it because they felt like it wouldn't be that much traffic out there. They know what car she was in, I'm assuming. They followed her. So they just waited for the opportunity. What was the cause of this? Why would you want to take this 31-year-old Guyanese woman's life who came to America because she wanted to be an influencer? She's already one, but she wanted to be an influencer, but she wanted to grow as an influencer, and she went to the city of Atlanta. There's still a lot of questions there. People are questioning the Uber driver. How come he wasn't hit? The car was hit 40 times. How was it, If they're not aiming, because what it looks like to me is that they were aiming in one direction. So they weren't just shooting up the whole thing. It's almost like they had a specific target, and it was her, unfortunately. But what would drive these individuals to do what they did? I don't think, we've seen crimes go unsolved. I don't think this is going to go unsolved because I think there's a lot of moving parts. There's probably a trace of everything. Maybe there were people who had threatened her that we're going to find out about. There are still things there that can be put out here to find out what truly happened to this woman. This woman shouldn't have lost life. Whatever you think about her profession or what she does, this woman didn't deserve this type of end. She thinks that, you know, she's on her way home, but somebody is there to stop her. Somebody is there to end her life for whatever reason. It could be money related. It could be secrets related. You know, maybe she knew something that they felt like that she shouldn't know, and doing this brazen crime because you did this in traffic. So they're going to treat this a lot differently than in other situations, because this is, you know, this was at a traffic light, and people are going to feel some type of way about driving that late at night or early in the morning if these types of things are happening. So that's why I feel like the police are going to treat this with a little bit more urgency than they would before. And that'll be good for her family and friends and people that care about her, man. But what's going on out here? The world is going crazy. When you have to, you know, to one woman, you're firing all those shots to take out one woman. You would think that she's a leader of a criminal organization, you know? So let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll see y'all next one.